Marcus Carter had built his empire from absolutely nothing. A self-made CEO, a man who shattered expectations and defied every single odds stacked against him. But tonight, none of that mattered. As he eased into his first-class seat, ready for a smooth flight, a flight attendant approached with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Her voice was laced with forced politeness. "Sir, there's been a change. We need you to move." Marcus narrowed his eyes. "Move," he repeated, his voice calm but firm. Then he saw him, a white businessman already making himself comfortable in the seat Marcus had paid for, a smug smirk tugging at his lips. Marcus knew exactly what this was. He belonged here. But in their eyes, he didn't. He took a slow, deep breath. They had no idea who they had just tried to humiliate. And in exactly 5 minutes, their entire world was about to crumble. Keep watching. They messed with the wrong man. Marcus Carter wasn't just another passenger. He was the CEO of Carter Tech, a billion-dollar empire known across the world. That night, he was on his way to close a groundbreaking deal, dressed sharply in a perfectly tailored suit, exuding the quiet confidence of a man who had earned his place. He had arrived early, settled into his first-class seat, and was just about to relax, until the flight attendant appeared. "Sir, we have a VIP guest who requires this seat. We've reassigned you to economy." For a moment Marcus just stared. A VIP guest. "I am a VIP guest." His eyes flickered to the attendant's face, searching for some hint of hesitation. But all he found was cold insistence. "Please, sir. This isn't up for debate." Before Marcus could even protest, the so-called VIP stepped forward, a white man in an expensive suit, radiating entitlement. He barely glanced at Marcus before sliding into the seat like it had been his all along. No apologies, no explanations. And then, the flight attendant smiled at him. Marcus clenched his jaw. He had seen this before. He had lived this before. But tonight, they had picked the wrong man. "I paid for this seat. Why should I move?" The flight attendant's fake politeness faded. Her expression hardened. "Sir, you can either move or we'll have to remove you from the flight." A hush spread through the cabin. Passengers began whispering. A man in coach shook his head in disgust. A woman nearby pulled out her phone, hitting record. Marcus could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on him. This wasn't just about him. He exhaled sharply, then stepped aside, but not in defeat. "Fine," he said smoothly. "But I need a name." The flight attendant blinked. "Excuse me." Marcus pulled out his phone, his expression unreadable. "Your name." "And the supervisor's." Instantly, her confidence shattered. The businessman in Marcus's seat finally looked up, sensing that the balance of power had just shifted. "Just let it go, buddy," he muttered. Marcus ignored him. Instead he made a call. A calm, measured voice answered. "Yes, Mr. Carter." Marcus turned slightly, making sure the flight attendant could see his screen. "I need the head of customer relations on this call. Right now." The attendant stiffened. Then the supervisor arrived, irritation flickering in his eyes, until Marcus pressed a button and switched the call to speaker. "This is Marcus Carter, CEO of Carter Tech. Your airline is about to learn a hard lesson in discrimination." Silence. Passengers leaned in, hanging on every word. 5 minutes later, the gate agent rushed on board, panic written all over his face. Because at this point, a second call had been made. To the airline's CEO, an old acquaintance of Marcus. "Mr. Carter, I deeply apologize," the gate agent stammered. "There was a miscommunication." Marcus tilted his head. "Miscommunication." His voice was deceptively calm. "I was humiliated. Publicly. In front of an entire plane of people. Because of the color of my skin." His gaze locked onto the flight attendant. "Your staff thought I didn't belong in first class. Now tell me, what exactly are you going to do about it?" The flight attendant, now pale, stepped forward. "Sir, I was just following." "Save it." Marcus turned to the supervisor, eyes sharp. Who trained your team to treat black passengers like second-class citizens? The supervisor swallowed hard. We'll handle it internally. Marcus shook his head. Not good enough. He turned slightly, gesturing to the woman who had recorded the entire thing. That video. He pointed at her phone. It's already spreading. The world is about to see exactly how your airline treats black customers. A tense silence followed. Then the gate agent cleared his throat. The CEO has ordered an immediate review. The flight crew involved is being let go. Marcus nodded. Actions of consequences. The flight attendants escorted off the plane. The supervisor, his badge confiscated. And within hours, the airline released a public statement, an official apology, along with a promise for new anti-discrimination training. Marcus finally took his seat. The same seat he had paid for. He had won. But this wasn't just about him.